everyone, it is Holly, and I last year bought a new DVC contract. So I already owned a direct, so purchased through Disney contract at the Riviera Resort worth 150 points, which that was an adventure. I had put in for I think 2 or 3 Saratoga contracts and they did not happen, and then I finally just bite the bullet and I bought at Riviera, which quite frankly is where I really wanted to own anyways. It's obviously more expensive. It's hypothetically difficult to resell, but I don't plan on reselling. So in the end, I'm really happy with that choice that I made. But last year, my dad and I had a conversation. So my dad and I have been taking father-daughter trips for several years now. So we go every year. Typically it's like a 4-night, 5-day trip, just the 2 of us, and we plan on doing that for the foreseeable future. We really enjoy that. And we've been staying, like we did Coronado one time, but we've mainly been doing value resorts. We have done some deluxe with DVC points for like random reasons, but looking at the cost of hotels and how they've been going up, it just started to feel like maybe staying in the value wasn't the right way to go. Like, and there's no way to know, like, they're basically like $200 a night, which is not bad. Like, it's rough, especially when like you used to be able to get values for like 75, 60 bucks a night, right? And I love like the All-Stars. I'm a huge All-Stars fan. So, you know, it is what it is. But we thought about, would it make more sense for us to just buy a small DVC contract with the intention of using it for this father-daughter trip? Every single year, we would split the due, we would pay cash for it, so like no financing, and then we would just pay the dues every year. We'd split the cost of the contract, split the dues every single year, and that would cover our vacation, our hotel room. And we decided that that was the right thing to do. We both had the cash. We had like an idea of how much we wanted to spend. So, and again, resale just makes the most sense for something like this. Then we had to decide what resort we wanted to buy at. So we wanted a resort. So we were kind of like, we don't care with this where we end up staying. We are most likely going to stay Saratoga or Old Key West every time anyways, because they're the lowest point per room options. And so buying at Saratoga or Old Key West made sense. So we were mainly looking there because why not? Nothing hurts. In looking at contracts, we ended up doing something that I think some people might think was the wrong thing to do. So I think we had trouble finding like smaller point, like Saratoga contracts. I can't fully remember, but we ended up, after talking it through, agreeing that we were open to a Vero Beach contract. Now, the reason I say that may be a mistake is because, one, that means you are tied in to only 7-month window reservations in Disney World. So we have no resort at Disney World property to book 11 months out. So now typically, especially, we have a lot of flexibility when we travel. We're not really traveling around major holidays or anything like that because my dad's retired. I don't have kids. My job is very flexible for the most part, unless it's that very end of the year or tax season, especially like really close to like the couple weeks before tax day. I can do whatever I want travel wise. So we don't have to worry about that. We figured we have a pretty good shot of getting into Saratoga and Old Key West at 7 months. The other thing with Vero Beach is because it is on a beach and because of the turtles, it is the resort with the highest dues. I think they're like $12 or $13 per point. So yes, per year it is more expensive. We ended up deciding, especially with the number of points we were looking to purchase maybe like a 50 to 60 point contract, that wasn't a big factor to us. Now, obviously, every year the dues will most likely go up, but still it makes sense to us. So we ended up, I think my dad found the contract and I left work. I went to the mall to walk, and my dad had a contract he found. It was 58 points at Vero Beach, and he called me. I said, I'm game. Let's go for it. So I submitted the offer. I keep confusing all of these websites. I will put the one here, the name of it that we used, and I will link it down below. My broker, my agent is Andy Barry. He actually sold my parents their Polynesian contract direct through Disney when he worked for them. So when I was originally looking for a contract years ago and I used this website, I requested Andy Barry because I was like, well, he sold my parents their Polynesian contract and they liked him, so I'm going with him. And so that's what I did this time as well. And the reason I was the one submitting the offer is that even though we were splitting the cost of this and buying this with the intention of using it for father-daughter trips, this contract was only going to be in my name. I was going to be the only one on the deed. So I submitted the offer online and we just offered what the seller was listing it for. And while I was walking in the mall, I think I had submitted it like maybe 10 minutes. Andy called me to tell me, like, I think I was on the phone with my dad. And I was like, oh, Andy's calling, hold on. And so I answered Andy and he said they accepted your offer. And I was like, holy crap. So we went from there. Honestly, because my plan was to kind of film this whole experience, but everything moved so fast. I like did not know what to do with myself. So I did not film it or like record this process in any way. I will try to go through my emails with the DVC Resale company to see if I can get like a timeline for you. But so like I think that night, like I signed documents. I had to put down a deposit, which I just did on my credit card. And then it went off for like right of first refusal with Disney. I don't think it was that long. I think maybe we waited like 2 or 3 weeks. And then Disney came back, said that they were passing on the contract, so we were good to keep going. So I signed all the paperwork I needed to electronically, and then I needed to wire the funds to like the title company to complete the transfer. And the sellers were also great. They did everything fast, like they signed all their documents fast and everything. So I tried to do everything as fast as I could. I went to the bank to wire the funds, which is so funny because I went to my bank and I went on a Saturday because that was like, I mean, I basically work banker's hours. So like, it's hard for me to get to a bank. So I really can only bank on Saturdays most of the time, which wires don't go out on Saturdays. So I went and I was like, I need to do a wire, but like, I don't even know like how to do a wire. And it's funny because at my job, I do wires all the time. Like I submit them for my clients all the time. And I'm like, I have no idea. Like, how do I do this to somebody else? If I was doing it like through my, like our system at work, I would know exactly what to do, but like, I'm not a client of ours. So I don't even know if, like how that would even work. I don't know. But my bank was very helpful. They just had me fill out a piece of paper. They processed it and on Monday when wires were able to go out again. And that happened. I was a little worried because my dad had like just transferred in the, like his portion of it. I think the contract ended up being like $7,000 ish. And I was worried that like the bank would be like, why did you just get a deposit of like $3,000 and why are you wiring it out? Because I know at my job, like we have to, oh my gosh, it's crazy, especially lately, which I understand there is so much fraud, especially around wires. I would rather be cautious and ask questions and make sure people aren't like getting caught up in like a scam or something. So I get it, but they never asked because I was worried that would like slow things down and I just wanted to be as like respectful of the sellers as possible. So yes, so we sent the wire out and I think it's like a couple weeks for everything to like be finalized, the paperwork to all process. And then I think it is a little bit faster if you already have a DVC like account and contract. So then you get your new DVC member number because each contract has like a different member ID. And then you can technically, I think, get your points that day. You just have to call member services, but we weren't in a rush to use them or anything. So I just waited for them to load into my account, and they took like a couple of days to load. And our use year is August, which we did not care about use years in any way. And we ended up having all of the 2023 points. So that was great. And it actually worked out really well because my parents were going on a big trip to celebrate my stepmom's retirement from her job. I don't know why I just said from, like, you know what retirement is. So she was retiring. So they were driving down to Florida and then doing 3 cruises. And they were planning on staying at Vero Beach for a few days in between 2 of the cruises. So I was like, well, instead of paying cash or like using your points or whatever, I was like, we're not going to use these before like they expire anyways, like, or like we would have to bank them. And it's like, do we really? So basically I booked a Vero Beach stay for them. And then I just told my dad to like pay me back. We got Citrico's one night when we were in Disney for Wine and Dine. And I was just like, pay for my dinner at Citrico's. Like, I don't care. That seems fair to me. So my parents have already used the contract. I have not. Technically, I have now. Well, I haven't used it because I haven't gone anywhere. But I have now booked the first father-daughter trip for us. And we did actually end up booking at Vero Beach. And then when 7 months for our trip came up, which was just this past week, I was able to move to Saratoga, which was great. Although we said like, we would love to use this at Vero Beach at some point, or maybe like every few years we just do like a little beach vacation. And I think that would be tons of fun. The dues are about $800 a year, so that's $400 each. So if you think about it, that's how much our room costs. Is like every year we get a room for $400 each, and we get to stay at a deluxe resort. And I think that that is 100% worth it. I'm sorry I couldn't provide like more details about like the timeline and everything. I will try, like I said, to go through my emails and see if I can get you dates or like at least like time frames for how long it took everything to go, and put that down in the description. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this. I don't know, share my experience. I'm not sponsored obviously in any way by this resale company, but I'm very happy with the experience I had with Andy, obviously, but then the other people I dealt with in transferring money, signing documents, everything like that. It was very easy, very seamless. They explained everything very well, and I'm happy with my experience. If I bought another contract, I would definitely consider resale, and I would probably just use them again because it worked out. I'm definitely in no place to buy a contract right now. I'm trying to buy a house. So I was like, I already have like, and the contract was 58 points. I can't remember if I said that. It's 58 points, which we thought was like a little weird of a number. But it's kind of nice because 50 points we thought we might have like a little bit of a struggle using, but closer to 60, we should be good to go. So yes. So now I have over 200 DVC points as a single lady, usually staying in studios. So, although this year I am taking 4 trips to Disney World and 1 cruise, next year is going to be very different. I am probably going to I have a family trip in January, and then I think just my father-daughter trip. And that is all we're going to do because, again, trying to save money. But my January trip this year, I paid cash and stayed at All-Star Sports, but that was honestly just because I couldn't get a room in any DVC anywhere. I booked kind of late. That was my fault. So I stayed at All-Star Sports. I was there for like 3 nights. I went for marathon weekend for the 10K. But every other trip this year, that January trip, and then obviously my father-daughter trip next year, will all be with points. So it's a great, like, I'm so happy to have my DVC. That is my experience buying DVC resale. There are pluses and minuses to how you buy your DVC, and I've now done both. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.